My next guest is a VC who's going back to the future with his investing strategy, returning to his DC fixer roots. Joining me now is Bradley Tusk, CEO of Tusk Venture Partners. Can we call you a fixer, Bradley? Welcome.
Yeah, I don't take offense at it. It's okay with me.
Okay. Yeah. You're most well known for your work with Uber, with other startups who kind of become so successful they run afoul of regulators inevitably. There are a lot of those these days, I would imagine.
Yes, there are. I mean, and obviously AI is really the biggest opportunity here because you have this technology that you guys probably spend at least 40% of your time talking about one way or another that we think can transform basically everything, and yet is completely unregulated. And what we know is there needs to be regulation.
Does there?
Yes,
what kind
absolutely.
Of regulation? What? You heard Vice President Vance. He basically said, look, the risk now is that we tamp out this new innovation and do more harm than good before we know exactly how best to regulate this.
Yeah, that is, I agree with that. You certainly don't want the EU level of regulation where you end up just stalling all innovation entirely. But you also don't want a repeat of Internet 2.0 here in the U.S., where we did nothing to regulate social media, and you have an epidemic of teenagers killing themselves, right? That's not okay
Bradley,
either.
People use that example all the time, but what exact regulation do they want then?
Section 230. So the specific regulation that would change that is the platforms are not liable for the content posted by their users. And as a result, if I post something defamatory about you or something terrible on Instagram, you can sue me, but you can't sue Meta. They're the only industry that has this. So the regular CNBC does not have the same level of protection. And ultimately, it creates this very perverse incentive where if you are Meta or TikTok or any platform and your goal is to generate returns for your shareholders, that's your job, you know that human beings have a negativity bias, and we are far more likely to click on negative headlines than positive headlines. And so you actually make more money by promoting toxic content because that generates more clicks, which generates more revenue.
And Bradley Tusk, I guess I would ask you then, are you motivated by, is it because it's VC winter, because you're passionate about regulating AI or helping those companies, or because Trump and his team present opportunities? What do you see the next 4 years bringing?
A little bit of all of it, right? So just for a little context for the listeners, what I announced yesterday is rather than raising a fourth venture capital fund where we deploy outside capital, I decided to do what I did with Uber and Clear and FanDuel and a lot of other companies where we work with them, solve their regulatory problems in return for equity, and then I write checks out of my own family office into those companies instead, rather than using outside capital. To me, that is a more lucrative model that also lets me focus on what I'm most interested in, which is how do you legalize disruptive technologies, and kind of lets me not focus on the things I don't really enjoy, like board seats and fundraising and LPs and portfolio construction and things that to me aren't that interesting. But ultimately, I think there really is a tremendous opportunity here because we do have an administration that is much friendlier towards tech and towards innovation than we had under Biden. And I think, part of it is most tech regulation actually doesn't occur at the federal level. It's state and local.
True.
But I think that under Biden, Lena Khan and the FTC, and I'm not the first person to say this on your show,
we gotta
obviously.
Go.
Yep. Just created a climate where all M&A was just chilled.
I'm sorry the president took your time, but you're going to be very used to that.
I understand it.
Bradley Tusk, thanks so much. We'll continue later. Tusk Venture Partners.